Okay, so we are here at the Bank of International Settlements consultative document, second consultation on the prudential treatment of crypto asset exposures. This is the third time I'm recording this now. My mic failed. It sucks. So I'm just using my computer mic. Let's see how it goes. All right. Refinement of classification conditions. That's where we're going to start. And then we're going to end up going down to here, group SEO 60 crypto asset exposures. Refinement of the classification condition. June 2021 consultative document. The BIS committee proposed that to determine the prudential treatment of crypto asset exposure, banks would be required to screen them against a set of classification conditions. Crypto assets that meet all of the classification conditions will be classified as Group 1, and all other cryptos will be classified Group 2. They're the non-important, well, not as important. On June 2021, proposal further divided Group 1 crypto assets into tokenized traditional assets, Group 1A, and crypto assets with effective stabilization mechanisms, Group 1B. Classification Condition 1 restricts the type of stablecoin that can be included in Group 1B to those that have a stabilization mechanism that is effective at all times. So if you're 1B, you have a stabilization mechanism that is always effective. It's always working. It's always stabilizing the value of that crypto asset. To provide further specification of this condition, the June 2021 consultation included a quantitative test. It stated that banks needed to monitor the difference between the value of the crypto assets and the value of the traditional asset on a daily basis, and to be included in Group 1, the difference in value must not exceed 10 basis points of value of the underlying traditional asset, more than 3 times over in 1 year period. Let's see. Nope, not that one. Did I get rid of it? I did get rid of it. Okay. We'll go back there. So now we're on page 13. Just going to scroll up there, show you guys there. This is the document they're referring to by the Bank of International Settlements, June 2021, consultative document, prudential treatment of crypto assets. We're going to go back down to page 13, was it? And we're going to focus on Group 1B, crypto assets with stabilization mechanisms. Certain types of Group 1 assets may not confer the same level of legal rights as ownership of a traditional asset, but may seek to link the value of the crypto asset to the value of the traditional asset or a pool of traditional assets through a stabilization mechanism. Crypto assets under this category must be redeemable for underlying traditional assets, for example, cash, bonds, commodities, and equities. It's not possible for the committee to set out the capital treatment of every type of crypto asset structure. So they focus on 1B. As such, this section considers 2 stylized crypto asset structures as illustrative examples and examine how capital rules would be applied in these cases. As the issue raised in this generic example are likely to be relevant for many crypto asset exposures, these examples should serve as an indication of the committee's current thinking of these crypto assets. Essentially, where I'm going with this, I probably should have said this in the very beginning, is people keep talking about XRP being backed by gold. I'm just trying to show right now how Ripple adheres to framework, Ripple adheres to policy already laid out by the Bank of International Settlements, which had been given its recommendation from high level recommendations, I believe it was called. There is an entity, which is the redeemer, which is a bank or an exchange, that commits to exchange the crypto asset for an underlying traditional asset or cash equal in value to an underlying traditional asset. The mechanism that the redeemer uses consists of maintaining a sufficiently large pool of assets that can draw on to honor its commitment. In this example, the crypto asset holder, H, are allowed to transact directly with the redeemer. I didn't go to the example, my bad. Classification condition 1 restricts. Did I read this already? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's go down. I'm just bringing you guys through my thoughts here, through my readings, through what helps me learn here. I figure this will help you learn as well. Crypto asset exposure. This chapter sets out how the Basel framework, remember Basel is BIS talking about gold, how the Basel framework should be applied in respect of banks. Exposures to cryptocurrency. Crypto assets are defined as private digital assets that depend on cryptography and distributed ledger or similar technology, or DLT. Digital assets are a digital representation of value, which can be used for payment or investment purposes or to access goods or services Classification conditions. In certain areas of this chapter, most notably for the purposes of credit, market and liquidity risk, the prudential treatment of banks' crypto asset exposure varies according to the prudential classification of the crypto. To determine the prudential classification, crypto assets must be screened on an ongoing basis and classified in two groups, Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 are the crypto assets that meet classification conditions set on in SCO 60.8 to this one here. Group 1, tokenized traditional assets that meet classification conditions. Group 2 are crypto assets with effective stabilization mechanisms that meet the classification condition. Or sorry, Group 1B, not Group 2. Group 2 is down here, and these are all other cryptos. Classification 1. The crypto asset is either a tokenized traditional asset, or 2, has a stabilization mechanism that is effective at all times in linking its value to a traditional asset or pool of traditional assets. For reference, assets. Tokenized traditional assets will only meet classification 1 if they satisfy all the requirements. They are digital representations of traditional assets using cryptography, DLT, or similar technology to record ownership. Ripple does that already, or XRP does that. They pose the same level of credit and market risk as a traditional non-tokenized form of the asset. In practice, this means the following for tokenized traditional assets, for instance, bonds, loans, claims, or banks, equities, and derivatives. That's a lot of money, man. The crypto asset must confer the same level of legal rights as ownership of these traditional forms. So if you own that XRP that's backed by whatever that asset is, that XRP is worth that value, is the way I interpret this statement here. Okay. First, crypto assets do not meet the conditions set out in this. First, need to be redeemed or converted into traditional assets before they receive the same legal rights as direct ownership or traditional assets. Okay. So then they need to be redeemed first. Okay, that makes sense. And 60.11, crypto assets that have a stabilization mechanism will only meet classification condition 1 if they satisfy all of these requirements. This is the meat and potatoes, folks. I'm Canadian. They say Canadians eat meat and potato chips. Yeah, whatever. That's me thinking out loud. Meat and potatoes. I don't know how I got on chips. Anyways, look at this shit. Look at this. Look what you guys making me doing here. All right. So the crypto asset is assigned to be redeemable for a predefined amount of a reference asset or assets. For example, $1 or 1 ounce of gold or cash equivalent to the current market value of that reference asset. For example, $1 value, USD value, or whatever the USD value is of that 1 ounce of gold. So if that 1 ounce of gold is $1,700, the value of the reference asset to which 1 unit of the crypto asset is designed to be redeemable is referred to as the peg. So whatever that crypto asset is, let's say XRP, which has the value of gold, which you can convert to the value of USD. So you can convert that gold into that 1700 USD or that 1700 USD into gold, into XRP, into all three of those seamlessly. The stabilization mechanism is designed to minimize fluctuation in the market value of the crypto assets relative to the peg value. In order to satisfy the effective at all times conditions, banks must have a monitoring framework in place verifying that the stabilization mechanism is functioning as intended. So there's going to be something to monitor this and watch this. There's got to be something out there. To this end, banks confirm that the crypto asset meets the redemption risk test and the basis test outlined. So there's two tests that this must meet. Two tests. Let's see, does Ripple have a stabilization mechanism?
You brought up Ethereum, and I think the crypto world last week took a lot of notice of it.
Where are we now? Where are we? Here, I found this Ripple escrow tracking bot to get rid of negativity opportunities at Ripple engineering team. All right. And then I guess I got rid of that one too. Moving along. Did I? Anyways, moving along. The stabilization mechanism enables risk management similar to the risk management of traditional assets based on sufficient data or experience. For newly established crypto assets, there may be insufficient data and or practical experience to perform a detailed assessment of the stabilization mechanism. So you need something that's been around for a while, tried and true and tested. We've been in a huge test. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. We've been in a huge test since COVID had started. They called it the fire drill, if you will. I'll show you the video of that. They call it the fire drill. And this video right here, look it up. They call it the fire drill. I don't know if I'm on the right time.
The pattern we saw in 2008. It then begs very, very deep questions about whether or not things like financial inclusion are basic human rights. And simply put, whether or not ubiquitous, near universal access to the internet should be simply a part of the digital commons that we all enjoy. If we're all going to depend on it in the middle of a fire drill, which is the COVID-19 event, then we should also ensure that on those rails could ride the transfer of value, the transfer of information, the transfer of assets, the transfer of title, identity, assurance, authentication, you name it. Today, none of those things are possible at scale, and it's an indictment of us as a planet and as a modern economy. I'm speaking now of the United States.
Perfect. So this is Jeremy Allaire up top left there. He's USDC, CEO of Circle. This individual, Dante Disparte, is a FEMA representative. And this woman down here, Sheila Warren, she is a blockchain, I don't remember her title, but she is with the World Economic Forum. She is with the WEF. And you heard them there talking about that awesome test, the COVID fire drill there. And through this, we were able to redeem that, whatever that was you were redeeming, that USD, that Canadian, that Switzerland money, Estonian money. You can convert it to gold as well. Anyways, evidence must be provided to satisfy supervisors of the effectiveness of the stabilization mechanism, including the composition, valuation, and frequency of valuation of the reserve asset and the quality of the available data. There exists sufficient information that banks use to verify the ownership rights of the reserve asset upon which the stable value of the asset is dependent. In this case of the underlying physical asset, banks must verify that these assets are stored and managed appropriately. Okay, stored and managed appropriately. That could be Ripple's escrow. I don't know. I'm not sure how PolySign plays into this as well. Because that's maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, this monitoring framework must function regardless of the crypto issuer. So there must be a monitoring framework created by Ripple, or created, as a protocol created by Ripple for XRP, that if Ripple was to walk away, this stabilization mechanism still exists for the XRP ledger or whatever stablecoin or global stablecoin that is. Global stablecoin that is. So banks must use the assessment of independent third parties for the purposes of verification of ownership rights only if they are satisfied that the assessments are reliable. I have not found the third-party company that Ripple uses to audit their stuff. What I did find, though, that the BOE, Bank of England, paired with Ripple and MindBridge, company out in Ottawa, has being used for machine learning. So AI is now doing their auditing in the Bank of England. So there could be another company that's doing that as well for Ripple. Who they are, I haven't found out yet. You guys do know? Please let me know in the comments down below. So the redemption test. Crypto assets that have a stabilization mechanism will only meet classification 1 if they pass the following 2 tests. The objective of this test is to ensure that the reserve assets are sufficient to enable the crypto assets to be redeemable at all times, including during periods of extreme tests or extreme stress. Again, the fire drill was an extreme stress test for the peg value. Did that work at all? I don't know. I don't know how to tell really. So here we have XRP paired with Binance up there. This is a trading view. I'm just on Photoshop right now. And then we go all the way down. We have gold here. The past 12 months. Was it 12 months? Yeah, on the 12 months time frame there. So let's pull it up a little bit. You guys see any correlation? Is this 10 basis points between the two of them? I don't know. I haven't pulled this up. I haven't pulled up the information on Yahoo and pulled out all the, I guess, the Excel sheet and calculated between the two of them yet. I haven't done any of that. But there are some similarities, to say the least. But there's also huge differences. But basis risk test. The objective of the basis risk test is to ensure that the holder of a crypto asset can sell it in the market for an amount that closely tracks the peg value. To pass the redemptions test, the bank must ensure that the crypto asset arrangements meets the following conditions. Okay, the reserve assets are managed and invested with an explicit legally enforceable objective of ensuring that all crypto assets can be redeemed promptly at the peg value. The peg value was what again? It was the value of 1 gold ounce, which can be converted into USD, which whatever that value is at that time. Right now, sitting around 1700, I believe. A robust operational and resilient framework exists to ensure that the availability and safe custody of the reserve assets, Ripple's escrow as a reserve asset. Also, there it is right there. So, since we're talking about reserve assets, bank reserve assets, definition purposes, bank reserves are the cash minimum that financial institutions must have on hand in order to meet central bank requirements. This is real paper money that must be kept by the bank in a vault on site or held in its account at the central bank. Okay. BPG launches XAU trading on Ripple. XAU is gold. This is 2016, man. 2016. I was dead asleep. I had no idea this was going on. All right. BPG digital gold backed IOUs, the XAU, are now issued within the Ripple protocol. The XAU is enabling digitized gold investment and the availability to use XAU for remittances payments. This way, physical gold can be converted into fiat currency such as USD, UER, or any other cryptocurrency. Moreover, an XAU can be redeemed and physical gold that is stored in the BPG's, I don't know that word, vault, can be shipped to you. The way this works, what represents 1 XAU issued by the BPG on the Ripple network? 1 XAU is 1 gram of gold. 1 gram, whatever that gram value is, that's pure gold of 99.9. All right. 3 examples of Ripple, XRP, and gold coming together. The GBI Ripple connection, the Swiss gold handles XRP. You can convert XRP into Swiss gold. And here, most people may not be aware, but there is another angle between gold and Ripple on the Uphold exchange. I use it. I don't, I'm not being sponsored by them. I'm just telling you that I use it. I don't get any payments for them. If you decide to use it or not, that's your decision. I'm not promoting or anything else. I'm just reading what's in the article here. Uphold an exchange. It is possible to switch between XRP and XAU at any given moment. This can be done free of charge, making it a very interesting option to explore now or in the future. Oh, yep, here's Ripple's escrow. We were talking about that briefly. This is David Schwartz talking about it and what it's about. The escrow consists of independent on-ledger escrows that release a total of 1 billion XRP a month over the next 55 months. This provides an upper limit on the amount of new XRP that can be brought into circulation. What's the escrow for? It's to provide additional predictability to the XRP supply. Ripple has locked 55 billion XRP, which is 55% of the total supply, into a series of escrow. Now anyone can trade, send, and spend physical gold online via GBI's Ripple gateway. GBI is proud to announce that it has launched a digital gold-backed currency via the Ripple protocol. The protocol allows clients in New York, New York announced that, to send a physical XAU balance online, send it electronically to friends and family, or spend it as currency for payment anywhere Bitcoin's accepted. It's an interesting thing there. This new and unique capability comes from GBI's just launched Ripple Gateway. All XAU trades are backed with physical gold deposited in 6 secure vaults around the world. Select market makers have already been issued XAU balances and have commenced trading. GBI integration allows Ripple users to trade, send, and spend gold. With the launch of the GBI Ripple Gateway, gold just got a lot more useful. Gold Bullion International. GBI, one of the world's leading precious metals provider, now enables people to trade digital units of physical gold, send it to friends and family, or spend it online. Gold has reserved monetary and symbolic functions since before the beginning of recorded history. Today, individuals, institutional investors, and central banks continue to maintain strategic holdings in the highly sought-after precious metal. In all, the total market for gold is worth over $8 trillion. $8 trillion. Ripple has a framework already created here, a real approach to cryptocurrency regulations. A lot of this outsources again to the Bank of International Settlements, as well as I want to say framework that already exists and bills that exist. I can get into this next time. Show you guys how show you guys how the SEC and the CFTC will potentially have appointees within Ripple or working with Ripple specifically, have appointees with Ripple. That's in the HHR 1602 Eliminating Barriers to Innovation Act. I'm telling you guys, this is a show. This is all a show. I want to say Ripple's complicit in this, or they are just adhering to policy framework. That's it. But they're definitely in the know of some things there and not telling everything. Love this company to death. Love it to death. You want to know about Ripple and securities and the about the security with regards to XRP funds too, if that's and the whole court case? Let's talk about that really quickly, okay? Specifically, this bill proposes a new term investment contract asset and makes clear that such assets should be considered separate and distinct from any securities offering that may have been a part of. That is, digital tokens are not transformed into security merely because they may have been issued in connection with an investment contract. Rather, the bill clarifies that these assets are in fact and always were a commodity. They always were a commodity. So the fact, and that's the bill, the Securities Clarity Act. You know what? Let me just show you guys this quickly. Okay, just quickly, and then I'll come off the video here. the Securities Clearance Clarity Act refer to, there we go. This bill excludes an investment contract asset as being considered a security, including for disclosure and registration purposes. An investment contract asset, as defined by the bill, is a tangible or intangible asset sold pursuant to an investment contract that is not otherwise considered a security. So it's always and always will be a commodity. All right, let that reign. Not my words. That's the bill there, and then Ripple goes and states that here in their policy framework. All right, it's always been a commodity and always were commodities. All right. All right, guys, thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to spend with me. I hope you guys have learned something here. Just to recap, we learned about Ripple's framework. We learned about how the XRP prior to being sold prior to 2020 when they were sued, that's a commodity. We learned about stabilization mechanisms. We learned about how group one, there's two assets. They could have, there's two types of stable coins. There's these Group 1A and Group 1B, and Group 1B has stabilization mechanisms, which Ripple adheres to already. You know what? Let me go into one more thing, actually. Just because. In here again, is this it here, or is this it here? The Group of Seven, yeah. Another Bank of International Settlements thing here. All right, here they're talking about investigating the impact of global stable coins. Global stable coins, just to leave you guys a tidbit here, global stable coins. This is the only company I've ever seen use that word. The global stable coin race is on. They're not in a race. They're not in a race with anybody. All right, you guys, I'm signing off. I hope I'll see you on the next one.